All right, we are indeed live. Good morning, everybody. It is House Edge Live with John from ProCraps here on Casino Gaming TV. Currently, I'm working on my new microphone placement, so sorry that it's kind of in the shot there, but you'll get over it. I'll find a place to put it later. Anyway, I hope it sounds good. I'm trying something new. I'm trying to do the old TV trick where they put the boom mic like right over top of your head, and you just quite can't see it. But I got about an inch or so where you can see it. But if I move it the wrong way, then you'll lose my voice. We'll try that. All right. Anyway, here we go. We've been talking about variance this week, and I got a couple of things that I wanted to kind of, I don't know how this is going to work. So let's work on a little comparison. Okay. I'm going to show you some outcomes from blackjack. I'm going to run some live outcomes right now that are going to be for craps, and we can call some things out as we go. But at the same time, I think it's important to look at it in the end and go backwards. I know we don't want to look in the rearview mirror and kind of decide what a trend was, but I want to look back at the rolls that happened and let's examine the variant that we have and see, again, what could we have done in the moment, but really where variance sort of comes, where it manifests itself. So with that said, let's just jump on in and remind you that everything you're about to hear, you got to filter through the lens of your personal bridge. And again, the bridge is all of these things put together. What kind of bankroll you have, what's it capable of? How does it handle your loss, right? How do you view risk? When do you identify anything? Identify the variant, identify the opportunity that you're experiencing to leave or to stay, right? Identify where you should be playing, right? Do you have the discipline to execute your plan, right? Do you have a goal at all, or are you just winging it? And are you under control? All these things together, I think, make for a better experience. They don't guarantee you a win, but I think they make your experience better. And because we live in a world where variance is real, right? The expected value, your average over time, will be a loss. I think we all can agree on that. The casinos will take your money over time. And this is where I think the guys who rely solely on math and the guys who are more gamblers will fight a little bit, right? And again, I think we get caught up a lot of times in terminology. I know, tangent here, but on the show last night with Jeff and Gargoyle, Jeff loves to never say the word strategy because for some reason, I have to ask him why, but for some reason, Jeff and Ed and a couple other people don't like the word strategy, like it's a bad word or something, right? I don't think it's a bad word. I think it's a word that describes what you're doing. Where are my bets? What do I do when I win with my bets, right? And how much am I betting? Where they go, how much am I betting? What do I do when I win a bet? That's together. That's your strategy. That's your strategy. It's strategic. It's okay to say the word, right? I don't say the word trend typically because I think that truth in this means trending has something pushing the outcomes based on what's happened before. In gambling, that's not the case. But we do have variance, which feels the same, right? We have streaks, which is the same thing happening over and over again. These things are important, right? These words are important to use, but variance on its own, right? What are you expected to lose over time or win over time? The variance is how wild that ride is. You're going to get to zero. If you just keep playing your way, 110 inside, press, take them down, right? 640 across to 320 to 160 and walk. If you do that all the time, forever, ever in memoriam, you're going to lose. The variance says how wild the ride is. You might win that thing 97 times in a row and then lose 10 grand like Ken did one time, right? That's what variance talks about because you never see the perfect outcome, right? And we don't have, although you have played in your lifetime an unlimited number of rolls. You probably have all played in craps 10,000, 20,000, maybe 30,000 rolls in your life. I don't think that's saying a lot, right? Matter of fact, if we look at like a typical night at the craps table, you're getting 40 rolls an hour on a average, let's say 50 an hour. And you do like 2 hours a day. 50 times 2 is 100, right? It's 100 rolls you're seeing every session, right? If you do that, if you go once a week, right? Times that by, 52 weeks, you're seeing 260,000 rolls a year, right? That's quite a bit. And if you divide that by 8.5, but divide the whole thing by 8.5. I'm doing math that you can't see. Divided by, well, come on. Divided by 8.5. You're seeing like 30,000 shooters, right? That's exactly what I'm talking about, right? In a typical year, if once a week for 2 hours, you're seeing about 30,000 shooters in a year, right? Or 3,000 shooters in a year. That's not that like tiny of a thing. I think we all think, oh, I live in the short term. You do live in the long term. You run your short term things together, it's a long term thing. But in the moment, right? We cherry pick the moments that we're in. That's where the variance is. That's where you make all your money or lose all your money in those moments. You don't lose. You do. This is going to sound weird. You don't lose $10,000 over the course of 5 years and call it a bad day, right? You lose $100 a day for 10 years and it doesn't feel that bad. That's the difference, right? This is, I think, a thing we have to really kind of wrap our heads around. Maybe I'll do a show about that. That concept in of itself. Actually, to me, it's kind of interesting. Anyway, let's jump in and look at some variance words, and then I'll show you some results here, right? So again, we say variance in finite play in these small sessions, right? With actual bankroll, the shape of that variant, right? If it's really good or really bad for you, that matters as much, probably more than the house edge of the bets. I believe that wholeheartedly. And the question isn't that we're trying to answer with these shows isn't how do I win forever, right? The question is how do I maximize my probability of winning this session or minimizing the damage in this session when things go south. Your ability to recognize the variant that you're in and whether it's good for you or bad for you. This is what Bo Parker teaches. This is what Ed Robinson teaches. This is what Gargoyle teaches, what Jeff teaches, what Joe from Crafts Master teaches, what Ryan teaches, what Jeremy teaches. All these guys teach this without saying these exact words. This is what it's all about. Recognizing the variant, playing in the moment, understanding what you're seeing, and making a good decision for you at that time. Just because you lost on 10 straight or 7 straight PSOs does not mean the 10th person is going to PSO. It doesn't mean that the 10th person is going to have a 30 roller. What it means is you've probably lost most of your bankroll. And it's time to stop, right? You're in a negative variant. It may change the very next shooter, but you don't have the bankroll to survive it. You don't go to the ATM machine. It's what Gargoyle said last night. It wasn't your time. You were there in a bad window of time. Don't make it worse, and don't try and capitalize on a miracle. That's where people, I think, make mistakes because they try and read it. What is a session? Who knows what a session is? A session is when you're done, right? And I say this a lot. A session's when you're done. You can be, and I say this a lot personally. I bring what I bring. I'm willing to burn what I bring, and I've burned it a lot. Last time in Vegas, I burned my buy-in 3 times last time in Vegas. I had 3 terrible sessions, right? But I wasn't done playing. I was having a good time. We had interesting variants. I was up, down, up, down. I was enjoying the ride, right? I was enjoying that wild ride, and I allowed myself to burn the bankroll. I was done when I was done, right? There are days where I buy in, and the first 3 or 4 shooters, I'm having no fun. My emotional control is not there today. I'm just not feeling the vibe. I'll leave early. I'll leave with a 10% win or a 15% loss because it's not my day, right? And that's what a session is. Your time to be there, right? All right, let's dig in. Let's get to the table. I'm going to go to the table with you real quick. I'm going to show you a couple things. We're going to go, I think, here, and hopefully, well, that's not the greatest look, but I'm going to move this here. There, now you can see it. I'm going to roll dice, but I'm going to talk about a couple of things here as I'm rolling the dice. Let's see. It's getting ready to start. Oh, really? So talking about the weather, because that's what us old guys do, right, Dan? I've been bitching about these fires that we've had here in our area. They're out. We had massive rain over the weekend and some snow, and the fires are out. So we have no more smoke. Thank God. All right. Louis, by the way, says a strategy is different than playing with the players tossing. You're reacting to the game, not a strategy. I think there's strategy in that, though, right? Again, if you combine the words, right? Where are my bets? Number 1, where are my bets? Number 2, how big are my bets? Number 3, what happens when I win or lose? That's strategy. So if you're saying I'm watching the shooter and and going with the shooter, so to speak, right? And the shooter is throwing a bunch of 5s, or they're on all over the inside. The way that I play is more money on the inside, pressing, maybe a little more aggressively than normal, right? Maybe it's a 2-unit press versus a 1-unit press when I'm seeing what I'm seeing. That's strategy. That's what it is. That's planning, knowing what you're going to do when something happens. I still think the word applies. Gaming Pro, Tony Leo, my good friend, embrace the variance, plan for it. You built your whole platform around it. I know you have. All right. Fixing the big white thing on the screen. Fix the big white thing on the screen we see. What's the thing you see? Oh, this here. I'm sorry, but that I have my mouse over the thing. Sorry about that. All right, here we go. I am going to do some rolling. So we have this, this over here is my notes application. I'm going to go ahead and run some rolls with you. Let me make sure that I can do this. Hold on one sec. I need to get, hang on one sec. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this as big as I can make it so you can see it well. Okay, here we go. Let's do some rolls. I'm just gonna write them down. I'm gonna do the thing here. Actually, you can't see because of the glare. I'll roll you out two dice today. The dice don't matter. I'm gonna do a few shooters worth of rolls. We're gonna type them up here in this little app that I've got, my notes app. So you'll watch me do this in real time, and then we're gonna evaluate. First we're gonna stop at the 6th 7, and then we're gonna stop at the 6th 7 out. We're gonna make two stops along the way here, right? So here we go. Let's just roll the dice. We're gonna run shooters out and see what happens. So we have hope you can see that. It's a 6 1 7. It'll be a 7. And I know Tony would love me to do this, but I'm not going to put the 6s and 1s out there, which is I know what he's looking for, but we're gonna do this regular old logging them. So it's a 6. And again, as I'm doing this, call it out. Yeah, I know. The notes are the most important part, Jen. That's the thing. The dice here are less important than the notes. We're not going to bet. I'm going to try and put them where you can see them. And maybe I can do. Maybe if I do this, hold on. Let me see. If I put them here, you will have to trust me that I'm not bullshitting you. But let's do this. Let's make them like in here and bigger. How about that? Is that better? I'll try and roll them right in this one spot, and that way you don't get to see my keyboard either. All right. Again, call out what you see as you're seeing it, and think about the ways that you play. I'm thinking in my head already about pass line plays. I'm thinking about maybe betting just the 4 and the 10 for those players who do just the outsides. I'm thinking for just the 6 and 8 players. You're looking for outliers, things that happen outside the norm. All right. There's an 8. I got to put the mouse back up in here. 8. It's going to take a minute. Sometimes track and rolls is boring. There's 2 7s, okay? And a shooter with 3 rolls. That's almost like perfect. Almost like how they drew it up, right? There's a 5, a 5, 3, 8. 5, or 8. That's a 10. First 10 we've seen. There's another 8. That's the point. So we're on the same shooter. Come out 7. Doesn't matter, but it does matter. That's our third 7. There's a hard 8. And there's a 9. I'm actually going to log that 8 as hard, just so we do recognize that that's a thing that we care about, right? There's a hard 4. There's a 5. Our point is 8, right? There's a 3, a 1, 2, 3. There's a 6, 5, 1. There's another 9. That's 2 9s for the shooter while the puck is live. There's another 5. That's our second 5 for the shooter in this period of time here. 2 5s. That's 2 numbers that have double tapped. So I'm looking at that going, and here's the 6. That's 3 numbers that have made the double tap during this run. The 8 actually has not. The 5, the 6, and the 9 have all hit twice. Good random roller here, right? There's an 11, another 6 in the mix. There's a third 5. Don't tell me you can't get 3 or 4 5s in a run. There's the third 6 for Random Randy. There's another 3 for you crapless fans. There's a one off the repeater here, right? And there's your 7 out. Okay, so that is our second shooter and our 1, 2, 3, fourth 7. Again, note when we have our 6th 7. Okay. This is similar skill, but we're doing it in real time, but we're going to look at it in reverse. I want to analyze in reverse. We're going to look at the table here in a minute and see all the things that have happened. All right. So there's your fourth total 7. We're going to stop at a couple of points here. We're going to stop at 36 rolls. We're also going to stop at the 6, 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Hang on. Out of the way. There's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Actually, let's put it up here. Let's do 5. 5 rollers there. This is how we'll do it, because otherwise I'll lose my place. All right, so this guy here was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 18 roller. Wow, 18 roller on a Wednesday. That's awesome. Here we go. Let's do this next guy here. All right, next set of rolls is a 6. There's a 4. Another 4, back-to-back 4s, which is very, very cool and interesting. There's aces. Another 4. So the 4 on this shooter has flip potential. Okay. And again, if you're counting and keeping things straight in your head, if you're playing just the 4 and the 10, like Waylon does, ignoring the puck. Okay. How many times has the 4 or 10 beaten the 7? In this run? How many times has the 4 or 10 independently beat the 7? But how many times have you one of those was hard. Which one was hard? This last one here. How many times has the 4 or 10 beaten the 7 in total? But how many times has it beaten it between runs, between 7s? Like, for example, this 18 roller here, how many 4s and 10s are in here? Right? Here you got 2, 3 4s within one segment. Huge variance right there in front of you. All right, let's go. There's a 10. Look at this. Look at this guy here. This is the outside banger. Man, this guy is amazing. There's your 6. That's the point. We got a 5. Look at the random Johnny Yahtzee dice over here. There's an 11U. There's another 4. My gravy. The 4 has flipped. The 4 has flipped. There's an 8 hard. There's a 5. That's the second 5 for this guy. There's another 3. We needed that on the last shooter, right? There's a 5, and it's hard to see. I know is that our third 5? That's our third 5. So again, another good run here, right? There's a 9. Gee whiz. I'm running out of room. Another 9. Back-to-back 9. This guy's repeated numbers a couple of times here. There's a 6. What's our point? Our point is 5. Oh, that was our point was 5. The 9 was the point. I should probably do this. Otherwise, I'll get messed up here. Because this is a long run. And now I'm doing the whole thing where I screw up the run, right? There's a 6. There's the 5. And then here at the end, there's the 9. That's another point. The new point. There's another 9. Wow. We're going to be at 36 rolls here in a minute. It's an 8. Another 9. Good Lord. We're going to be on row 2 here. Can you believe this? 9. What a great shooter, huh? 6. My goodness gravy. Another 6. Holy crap and crap. Why am I not running one of my strategies today? Seriously. I'm just rolling random dice here, and we are killing life right now. This is awesome. All right, 6. We're gonna be at 36 here in a minute. Now I'm gonna go to the table and we're gonna check it out. There's an 8. We still haven't seen our 6th 7. We want to talk about a variant. We had not seen our 6th 7 yet. There's one of them, right? There's a 7. So that is how many 7s? 1, 2, 3. That's only our 4th 7. No, 1, 2. Come out 7, 7 out. 3, 4. That's our fifth 7. That's it. Now this run here was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 rolls. Okay, so between this, we have 5 and 18 is 22. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 35. This 5 right here is the 36th roll. I made it bold so we don't forget it, but that 5 is roll 36. So this is 36 rolls. We're going to put those out on the table to show you how imperfect this run was, but we still need one more 7 and another couple 7 outs. All right. It might be the small, right? Yeah, I know I did. It's still a 7 out. Where was the point? I don't know which one was the point there, but anyway, here we go. Let's do another shooter here. Coming out to 4. We're owed a shitty run, right? And there's a 9. Get the 4 logged. 4 is the point. 9. Oops. 8. My goodness gracious. Who wants to play in this table today, huh? Remember all those days where I was 2 8s in a row? Remember all those days where I was doing all these strategies and just getting myself torched? All those consecutive PSOs, and man alive. Today it's come back to her. 3 8s. 3 8s. Double tap. 4 8s. 7 out. Okay, there's our 6th 7 right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 7 roller. That's shooter number 4. We need 2 more shooters to get 6, 7 outs, but we know that this right here is our 6th 6, 7. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's our 6th 7. I'm going to make that bold so we don't forget it. Bold. 6th number 7. All right, here we go. 5th shooter. Oh, don't want this in bold. Like watching paint dry, isn't it? This is how science works, though, right? It's got to be boring. 2. Nobody cares about how the sausage is made. They just want to eat the yummy sausage. But the truth of the matter is, this is where I think the goodness is. All right, there's an 8. There's another 5. Points 9, right? Another 8. There's another 9. That's the point. New point is going to be 6. There's a 10. There's a 6. That's the point, right? Coming out again. 8. 10 hard. Not a lot of 10s today. A lot of 4s, not a lot of 10s. 5. Look at these rollers today. My goodness, gravy. 4 hard. Looking for an 8. 4 easy 4. Whew. 10. 6. 6 again. Wow. Wowie. 7 out. All right, that's going to be, count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Another 18 roller. Good Lord, look at these rolls. Talk about a variant, right? We're not seeing the PSOs. Today's variant is a no PSO variant, clearly, right? We're getting pretty good runs. We had 2, 1 average, 1 short, and 3 nasty rolls, man. It's awesome. That's a 6 for the point. Point's going to be 6. Last shooter. There's a midnight. There's a 7 out. There's your PSO. Okay. That is 6 shooters. So that's going to be, I'm going to bring the keyboard back in. That's going to be 6 total shooters. Okay. That's going to be 7, 6, 7, 8 7s and 6 shooters. Okay. So every shooter is guaranteed a 7 out. So you're going to have 6, 7 outs, but there's a couple of come out 7s in there as well. So that's where that kind of comes from. All right. Let's look at a couple things. I'm going to first zoom back out again with this view here. So give me a second to do this. I'm going to make this thing zoom out. Hold on, I need my keyboard. I need my keyboard to do this. Actually, let's look at just the box. Actually, I kind of need the field too. The box, we'll do the box and the field is all I really need here to do this next little bit. We're going to count. We're going to count what happened. Okay. I can't really fit it that good. Sorry. Best I can do. All right. Let's count up the 36 rolls first. That's my first task. I'm going to get my white chips over here. And the first 36 are, I'll put the sevens in the come out 7, 5, 6, 8, second 7. And then we have, and again, I'm just going to go right down the line. 8, 10, 8, 7, come out. 8 hard, 9, 4 hard, 5, there's a first field number 3, 6, 9, 5, 6, 11, 5, 6, 3, 7 out. Then we have the big one. We're going to stop at that bold 5. We had a 6, 2 4s, a 2, a third 4, a 10, a 6, a 5, an 11, another 4, the 8 hard, the 5, the 3, and the last 5. There's your 36 rolls. Okay, so let's take a look at what was weird in the 36 rolls, right? The first 36 rolls only had 4 7s. So you know right away, from a variant standpoint, you're light a couple 7s, but something else has to be heavy. Again, not worrying about the horns. We had exactly 6 horn numbers, okay, in 36. They were not all covered, but there was some 3s and 11s in there. But you had 6 horn numbers, which is actually where you expect the horns to be. That's actually okay. Up in here, 3 10s, perfect. Right? 2 9s, should have saw 4. Should see 5 8s. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 8s right on line. We should see 5 6s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had 1 extra 6. Let's make that look like a greenie. We had 1 extra 6 than we should have saw. There's one of the 7s where it went. The 5s, we should see 5 5s or 4 5s. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 3 extra 5s. Let's make those the green. So there's your outlier. Your outlier here is the 6s and the 5s. The 4, you should see 3. 1, 2, 3. 2 extra 4s. So the green chips are the variant. The green chips are where you diverged from the expected 36. That's the first thing, right? Number 1, only 4 7s in the first 36 rolls. Number 2 thing we saw, 2 extra 4s, 3 extra 5s, 1 extra 6. There's your money makers up in there. If you're playing the 4 and 10 only, working the come out, right? That first 36 rolls for you, that first couple of shooters, right? You only had 1 4. Actually, you had no 4s. We had no 4s before a 7, or no 7s before a 4. Or actually, here I'm lying. Right here, this 7 in here. You had 1 4, then a 7 that cancels it out essentially. Then you go 4 4 4 10 4. Right, 1 2 over here, 4 4 4 10 4 before a 7. 5 4s and 10s before a 7. That's huge. That is a huge little run right there if you're looking through it, right? And again, not that you can know it's coming, right? But if you're betting this way and you hit your 4, you hit your 4, you hit your third 4, you're thinking to yourself, man, I am really in an outlier here, right? Hopefully you've collected on this third one at the very least. Then you grab a 10 and another 4. That's go for it time, right? When you're seeing the things that are happening, you can, I think Jen tracks all the rolls, right? This is the reason why she tracks the rolls, because she likes to know what's happened and like what's, not so much what's coming, but where am I right now? I've already seen this crazy shit happen, right? Whether you expect the crazy to keep happening or not, it should be an indicator to you get your money off the damn table. You see 4 5 4s, make sure you've collected on that thing, right? That's kind of what that's about. All right, let me look back at the rolls again. So now we're over here, and again, one variant that we see, we had 1 average roll, right? The average roll is about 8.5. This one was 5, right? This one here is very average, right? In those average rolls, you see 2.5 to 4 box numbers. We're right here. Boom, 5, 6, 8. 3 inside hits, perfect, right? Down in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inside hits on that one. It's a little over the norm, but it's about where you want to be. We had 3 nice shooters that have some outliers in them. So again, there's lots of variance in this little bit of rolls here. This is where, again, you make the money in these sessions, or you lose your money in these sessions. Now watch, if you're going to be let's say a Dallas drawdown guy, or a one hit, right? Dallas drawdown, two hits, it works. It works. It works. It works. It works. Dallas drawdown works 5 times and loses its ass 1 time. So you go out there 640 across or 320 across. Dallas drawdown wins you 100, win 100, win 100, win 100, win 100. So you win $500 and lose 320 in that session. You can look at this and go, where do I live in this world, right? This is a really good session and I still barely came out of it. Follow? Interesting. There was a come out 7 in that 7 roller, right? Where? Here? There was a come out 7 in this one? I don't remember that. Oh yeah, right there, duh. Right in front of me. It was here, right? It was a 7 and then the 4, right? Like that. It's actually an 8 roller in that respect. There you go. Good thing. All right. What does it tell you? Let's get all this shit out of the way. I'm going to go back over to, actually, I'm going to go to this screen here. I'm going to change one more thing. Let's look at another session. And again, that's just, I'm not trying to teach you to predict the future here, right? I'm trying to teach you that you're never going to be in the ideal set. You're never going to be perfect 36. You're never going to have what you expect to have happen. So when things go outside the norm, I'm hoping your betting patterns are strong enough to capitalize when it goes outside the norm and not get killed on the other side of that. When you have a great run and a bad run back to back, what happens to you? All right, here we go. Probability does not correct itself. This is where Jacob's wrong. And I will fight that fight to the death. Probability does not correct itself. This is the thing that people don't seem to understand. You can have 1,000 sevens in a row, right? That does not mean in the next million rolls, you're going to get 1,000 less sevens. It's not what that means. The next million rolls could be perfectly shaped at 36. It makes this 1,000 sevens not matter so much because the law of large numbers is it reduces the impact of runs. It reduces the impact of these. These don't matter in a million rolls because in a million rolls, this happens 100 times, but this happens 500 times. In the end, the impact of something weird is lessened the more of things that you have. That's law of large numbers. Probability does not come back. We're not owed sevens. The seven's not going to get hot. It's just not the way that it works. But these things do happen. And if you catch yourself in a pickle where you start seeing more of these happen and you lose your bankroll, recognize the signs and don't put your bankroll at risk longer than you need to. Got me? All right. Now let's look. I'm going to switch screens or switch things. This is actually from last week or 2 weeks ago when I was running blackjack. And we talked about, the way I play blackjack. Blackjack to me is a very streaky kind of a game. So is baccarat. We look at ways to like bet the streaks and also maybe experience chop. Let's take a look here at what happens. Okay. Here's a case where we had 2 losses in a row and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins in a row. Here's a chop, win, loss, win, loss, win, a tie, and then we catch a little bit of a run at the end. Okay. And the last one was a quick chop and we're out. If you remember this day when I was playing the 1, 3, 2, 4, we made $2,500 at the $50 level. Okay. Because the way the runs happened for us, right? It didn't matter that we had the chop because you caught the 2 runs that you needed to make it all happen. Okay. Again, this variant that we were in should be basically 50-50. Instead, we were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 wins versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 losses. 12 wins, 5 losses. They came in a good sequence for us, right? Big time variant that day. The next day we did the laddering. And here we have, let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 losses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wins. 1, 2, 3, 4 pushes. Okay. that was a very much an even day, right? Super even day. And I got to make this a little bit smaller and a little wider. Well, can I make it wider? There we go. That day we ended with $1,300. Okay. Let's see this one here. Okay. So that was a tie, right? With 4 ties, 6 wins, 5 losses. That was a what we call a kissing your sister kind of a day, right? Nothing really happened there. Didn't win a whole lot of money. Won $300. Okay. Laddering. The next day, look at this. Look at the here. We had loss, win, win, win. 1, 3, 2, 4, right? A loss, a win on a 3x split. And then look at the chop. Loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. Look at this mess. Couple losses in a row. This is the day we tried to 31. We still made it. Why we make it? Because we're looking for 2 in a row at the end. But look at this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 losses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 wins. Okay. Wins outpace the losses, but look at that nasty chop in here, right? Some days the wins outpace the losses. And if you're not playing in a way that matches up on that, you would have got killed in here if you're playing a 1, 3, 2, 4. And it never would have worked. It would have worked right away. And it would have worked in here. You would have got that nice big split there and been gone and probably never experienced any of this. But again, outliers. The variance in here is enormous when you look at some of these things. One day out of the 3, we had basically a tie. Here, wins outpace. Here, wins outpace. It's all about rhythm. When are these things coming? And we go back to the other screens that we had. Let me go back a screen here and remind you of this. How do I get back out of that? I want to go to Keynote, right? There we go. So the expected loss over time in blackjack, it's about a 50-50, right? In all 3 of those, we were outside of that. One of them was really close to it, but we're outside of the expected, right? In 2 of those, the ride was wild. You can, again, have 9 wins to 6 losses. But if it's choppy, those 9 wins are meaningless to you. If you're living in a chop where you win, lose, win, lose, win, lose, win, lose, unless you're playing the chop correctly, or a system like we did that day, luckily, that capitalized on the one time we got 2 in a row, right? The wildness of the ride depends on your bets, where they are, your bankroll and how much you're betting, and your ability to get out whenever it is going well for you, or so you don't get thumped too much. All right. Let's head on here. And I got to get to work. It's 8 o'clock, a little bit after 8 o'clock, actually. I got to run. Let's do some, actually, let me do some questions with you first. Are there any questions out here that I have not answered? I'm looking through the chats. Let's see. Yeah, right. Isn't that funny? Let's see. You're probably right. It doesn't matter. Like it's on a mouse pad. They're pretty bouncy. And again, what you're doing doesn't really matter. I've done the same dice on the same thing and had 5 PSOs in a row. I mean, it just is what it is, right? In a world of randomness, you're going to get days like today, but it's always going to be like today. You're always going to have 1 number or 2 numbers or 3 numbers kind of dominate a session. It's just how it happens, right? So anyway, alrighty, let's see what else is out here. Let's see. You're saying, I agree, and I've always said that there are no guarantees. I think John is saying we should still look for the new variant when the 7 or when it starts up again. To me, like, you have variants in different stages, right? A shooter on their particular shot is going to create a variant. Remember, you're supposed to be, a come out horn, a come out 7, a come out number, 4 rolls and a 7, right? 8.5 rolls is about the average. Very rarely happens. But when you see a shooter, they're going to be off of that in some way. Too fast of a 7, too many numbers in between. But multiple shooters stacked up, the session at the table will also find itself in some craziness, right? I'm not saying you couldn't recognize or predict. What I'm saying is when you're in that moment and it's happened to you. Again, I'm betting the 4 and the 10. I'm trying to flip the 4 or 10. Or maybe I'm going to go 4 and 10, press them both, collect, press them both, and then regress back in. Maybe that's my 5-hit progression for a 4 and 10, which sometimes it is, right? When I get to press both, collect both, and I'm like, okay, that was easy. And then we get another press, and like that was easy. And there's no sevens yet, not even a come out seven. You're thinking to yourself, I'm already in something unusual for these two numbers. I better make sure I have collected on them, right? Because you have an opportunity to, right? You're waiting for all your life for this to happen. Make sure you collect on it when it does happen. And then once you've collected ahead of what could be something really cool, now you have permission to go. It's sort of like this rhythm that you get into yourself. I think it's kind of a collection trigger that I talk about with these things. So I guess that's where I'm kind of explaining it. So these collection triggers based on the variant that you've experienced. And when you experience something weird, make sure you made money on it. You get 5 fives on a shooter, you better have at least a black chip in your rack if you started at $10. You better have collected a black chip on that guy at the fifth one. You've got to capitalize on where you've been. You have to. And then you get to go. All right, I'm out of here, guys. Let's go. Reminder, your little reminder of the day here. We judge ourselves, right, by our good intentions. And I say this every day, right, this week. I feel like my intentions are good. I'm trying to give you good definitions. I'm trying to give you good examples. I'm trying to give you good things to think about, right? But you're only judged by your last action. If this show was ass and it sucked and you all hated it, then John, you all leave here thinking John's an asshole, right? You're only judged by what you just did, but you think you're doing good. Remember to look at yourself and your own last action. In coding, in tech, we do these things called RCAs all the time, where whenever a release happens or a bug gets fixed or whatever, we do a root cause analysis. We sit back and we say, let's evaluate. We do the 5 whys. Why was, if it's good or bad, right? We answer the question why 5 times. And we try and analyze. We intended for this to happen in the software. This actually happened. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. And you analyze what happened, right? That's an important thing. If you don't look back and say, I intended this, but this is what people remember, then there's something wrong. If you're not evaluating, because you're always going to be judged incorrectly based on your intention. So be in the moment, guys. All right, I'm out of here. Love y'all. Vegas Day Tripper, I agree. Happy hump day, everybody. See you tomorrow morning. Later.